This segment has been sponsored by Pro Bikes Caribe. Pro Bikes Caribe, get yours today. Before we get into today's interview, hear a little bit about the book from the author themselves.
Hi, I'm Samantha,
I'm Kilo.
And I'm Isaiah.
and we are
S.K.I.
S.K.I. Publications of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And our book, You Can If You Try, teaches kids the importance of perseverance and being kind. And it can be found on
Amazon.com.
Greetings, listenership. Welcome to TLC, Tropical Literature Creatives, the podcast where we interview authors of Caribbean heritage about themselves and about their literary works. Some of them you've heard of, and some of them you'll be hearing about soon enough. Today we have with us the sensational Samantha V. Williams, not to be confused with Samantha Williams. This is Samantha V. Williams. Samantha, welcome to TLC Tropical Literature Creatives today.
Thank you for having me, Mr. George. We appreciate you and your willingness to showcase our work.
Well, thank you for agreeing to be interviewed, ma'am.
Definitely.
Um,
Definitely.
which Caribbean island do you hail from?
I am from beautiful St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Ah, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Oh,
Yeah.
there's a scenario that I usually give to persons who I interviewed, and the scenario is this. I come to St. Vincent and Grenadines for the first time. What airport do you have in St. Vincent and St. Vincent?
Yeah, we have the Argyle International Airport.
Ah, or imagine I meet you there for the very first time. It's my first time in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. What would you recommend that I try when I get there for my very first time? What food or what place would you recommend that I partake of?
Listen to me, George. Anywhere you go in St. Vincent, it's promised to be a wonderful time. Everyone you meet will be welcoming and loving. If you go to the beaches or the waterfalls, you can hike any one of the trails like the Vermont Nature Trail. My favorite thing is flowers. So I will take you personally to our botanical gardens, which is so beautiful. But anywhere you go in St. Vincent and Grenadines, it's promised to be a wonderful adventure. We have many restaurants that offer an array of delicious Vincentian cuisines. But you know us already. We take you to our homes and we throw down. So you know how we do.
Uh, if it is that you don't make it as an author, I think that you should probably, send your resume to the tourism board of your country to promote the island because after something like that, I mean, who can resist visiting the Saint
I
Vincent?
mean, come on. Thank you so much.
Right, Samantha, for those of us who may not be acquainted with your works, can you just give us a little bit of details as to, well, I know that up to the time that we have had this conversation, you would have published up to 10 books. Can you give
Yes.
us some details as to maybe the three books that are closest to you? Give us some details about those. I know that there's a lot, but just three for now.
Okay. So they all mean something to me, as you said. But I'll go back to my first three publications, and which was Woman, We All Can Rise, We All Can Shine. And that one was special to me because as a woman, I have found that we are often each other's worst enemy sometimes, and we have not been told enough or empowered enough to understand that we are stronger together than we are apart. So it was important to me to capture not only my story, but several other stories of women who have encountered um, trauma or defeat in one form or another, and then inspire other women with their stories by encouraging them through how they came through this adversity. Um, and two of the other books that were important to me as well is one that I wrote for my daughter specifically, I Am Me. And I wrote the accompanying series, I Am Me Too, for my son. And they both speak of affirmations. It's both, the Bible said you speak life, that is life and death in the tongue.
Yes, yes.
And I'm sure you would agree that as you grew up in a Caribbean household, you're often told you never be anything, you never amount to anything, da 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 da. There's always something negative because I think that's how they were raised. They don't know anything different. So I think as you learn something different, you do something different. So because I know that was my story, I didn't want that to be my children's story and other children and other people that I met. So I wanted every child that read that story, those stories, or every parent that would read that story, or guardian and whomever, would be empowered to use affirmations to their children. Because I think if you teach your children that they are valued and they're important, they are loved, they would then transfer that to everybody that they meet as well. Because there's some children that go home to households that are not as positive. So I think if we teach them young, that they'll be able to carry on that same legacy.
I like what you said there. Where it is that when you learn something different, that you do something different.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Um,
Because a lot of it is just learned behavior. And I was telling somebody the other day, is you can't expect somebody to unlearn something today that they have taken a lifetime of learning. You have to give them time and encourage them into learning new behaviors and new ways of doing things.
true, true.
Yeah.
Seeing that you've written over 10 books, uh, are you a full-time author?
No, I'm not. I'm
Mhm.
actually, for the
Not a,
past 15
mhm.
years of my life, I've spent working in the library of the University of West Indies Global Campus at the St. Vincent site.
Oh,
So I've spent quite a lot of time doing library work. So some people say, well, that's a natural trajectory to write books because you've been in books for a very long time. But oddly enough, when I remember as a child, I think I was just disciplined by my mother, and I always said as a threat, one day I'm going to write my story and everybody's going to know. So I remember saying that as a child. I mean, I didn't know what that meant at that time, but looking back, I guess it was just part of God's plan.
Yeah, to just see the progression, to be surrounded by books, and it's just like you said, it's just interesting the way that everything just came together.
Correct. Correct.
Mm. Being around books, was it simple for you to the writing process, or rather having your book published? Uh, was it difficult? Where it is that you had to learn the ins and outs of self-publishing, etc.
Um. Well, actually, let me tell you the story. So actually, when I started writing,
Mm-hmm.
and I was at a point that I wanted to publish, I actually connected with a local publisher,
Mm-hmm.
and that did not work out for reasons I really don't want to disclose. But I wanted to be able to have control of my work
Mm-hmm.
and be able to then be able to tell somebody this is how you go about doing it, rather than have somebody do everything for me and not have a clue about what's happening in the background, or be a burden to people. Sometimes you ask people questions and some people just don't like to be questioned, I think. um so I did not like the feeling of not knowing. So I then approached an author, a local author, who published self-published. He introduced me to self-publishing through KDP and taught me how to set up my account and where to go from there. And then I was able to do it myself and then encourage other people, other Vincentian and Caribbean authors to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm much happier with that, having the control of going into your account and checking to see if there's sales or how much royalties are there, how to publish or whatever you have to do. But it kind of gives you a sense of control and ownership when you self-publish, that you're in control of what's happening and you can see and do and just know.
I like how that sounds. A lot of
Yeah.
authors who go that way indicate that's one of the main reasons why they choose to go that route. They want to be creative, and find that self-publishing is a really great platform for their creativity to
Yeah.
blossom, for it to run wild.
And it's free. So why not?
Why not? Even though the platform is free, I look at the quality of your work and it doesn't look like something. Let me rephrase
No.
that. Some persons who look at it, they may think to themselves, this is self-published. I mean, but the caliber of this
Yeah.
thing looks like it's
Yeah.
something that's
I've
that's
had that.
yeah.
I've had a lot of that. I remember when we participated in our very first Invest SVG Expo, there were so many people that were amazed. This is you selling these books? I'm like, yes, we are. Um, so where can I get these books? Whose books is it? These are ours. It's like, this is Vincentian? Are you serious?
Mm,
They were so amazed. I said, look at the quality, look at the
hmm
content. Yeah, I mean, it was such a wonderful thing for people to receive it and see the quality in what we can produce, we can do.
hmm
I don't limit yourself, and that was one of the things that I did not want to have, is just the limit to what you can achieve. I wanted quality. I'm a quality person. I wanted to have quality productions and let other persons know that though the um the production cost in terms of illustrations and those sort of things might be costly, you want to invest in something that you're gonna be very proud of when it's completed.
You have previously mentioned that when it is that you were going through another publisher before that, and this is me using my words to describe the process, that you wanted to be closer to the work, you wanted to be involved
Yeah,
in the process, to have an understanding as to what it
yeah.
entailed. And I'm looking at the covers of the books, etc., where the artwork, where the graphics, where the illustrations were concerned. Did you have a close relationship with the artist this time around? Were you able to
Yeah.
articulate what it is
Step
that
by
you
step, step by step. I work with this lady Lintan Pandu in Indonesia, actually.
oh
Um, and yeah, I was hunting for Caribbean based
talent?
illustrators and so on, but I was unsuccessful.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
But I found this lady through the same author that connected me with KDP, because he had used her previously. He uses her,
mm-hmm,
and which is Sheffield and Valentine, one of our local authors.
okay.
He but she's really really good, and she works with you step by step. So as she does her illustrations, send them to you for you to approve or say edit this, put So she's really really flexible and gives you, again, control of your work, because I
Uh,
wanted to be able to see us in my production. I wanted somebody that looks like me
mm-hmm,
to pick
mm-hmm,
up the book and say,
yes.
this is ours.
Mm. Seeing that the artist, that the illustrator was from Indonesia, was there any challenge where language was concerned? Did they speak good English? Would they?
Um, well, I rarely spoke to her verbally.
Mm-hmm,
We texted back and forth,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
because I do think there is some language barrier when it comes verbally,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
but you can communicate with her written, and it's fine. I've not had challenges, and none of the other authors that I have had challenges in communicating what they want.
Okay. No, I like the sound of
So
that. I like the sound of that.
yeah.
And what has been the reception for the book so far? Before you had mentioned that persons were shocked that, a book like this could have its origins in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Outside of that, in your home country, when persons go through the book, I mean, what is the response?
They actually love is the word that they use. They love the book, and they recommend them to all their colleagues who end up ordering, whether it's online or through us. They are in love with the books, the concepts. They are unlike what they would see locally, let me just say locally,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I think what we have seen throughout our years is storybook type things. Like what we grew up in is the Cinderellas and the Snow Whites and those sort of things. They're not normally affirmation based, and like the way that I go, because all my books, all our books have a moral. They have a moral to the story. Like the
Mm-hmm.
You Can If You Try. At the end, it teaches you that kindness is important
Mm-hmm.
and to never give up. Nami would teach you about responsibility, taking responsibility for what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I always make it a point to have morals of the story and moral that the kids can learn from, the adults can learn from, so they're well received.
Seeing that your writing is so intentional that they're written with like a moral or for the kids to have a takeaway at the end.
Correct.
What would your thoughts be about your books being adopted or incorporated into the education system there?
Oh, I welcome that. As a matter of fact, they're in a number of schools as it is right now. They've
Really?
been in shelters when we had the volcanic eruptions. They've
Mm-hmm.
been used in the shelters to keep the kids motivated and encouraged. Um, and then we have spoken at a couple schools, and we have um, the set of books of all the children's book in quite a few of the public school libraries and even in daycare centers. So they are already being used for the purposes that we intend, just to empower children.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. Warms the heart.
It does. Uh, would you say that your background working in a library would it have helped you in promoting marketing, etc., seeing that you would have had an understanding as to how the library system works?
I don't think so, because the UWI library is an academic library.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it didn't, like, learning how to articulate my stories and to lay them out and to market and to do anything. This is a whole new ball game for me, and I'm still trying to work it out. But it's just been a learning process, and it has been teaching me so I can teach others. Let's just
Mm-hmm.
say that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because every day I wake up, I ask God to bless me so that I could be a blessing to others. And I just use every opportunity that I get to just learn how to do this and do this effectively.
Yeah.
And because since I have been marketing my books, there are a number of persons that come. How do I do this? I have books that I have written. How do I go from step A to step B, and so on? So you just like people like, why don't you just charge? I say no, because nobody charged me to learn. Why
Mm-hmm.
should I do that? Everybody wants to feel proud of themselves for one reason or the other. I'm gonna give everybody the opportunity to do that. So I welcome anybody that wants to come and sit with me and take the 2 cents that I have and make it five. That'll be awesome, because then they'll be able to help somebody else.
Seeing that you found yourself in this particular position where you would have had understanding as to the process, self-publishing, interacting with the graphic artists from Indonesia, etc. Do you see yourself coordinating workshops to help other authors who are interested in self-publishing, etc.?
Um, Maybe. I am not generally a group person. Like, I don't do group presence. I'm not big on speaking publicly. So I think that's something that I have to work on.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't mind a one-on-one right now while I work on the fair fact of doing something else.
I mean, that stands to reason, you know. I mean, a lot of persons haven't even gotten their first book, and here you are with what, 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just
Yeah.
saying. Just saying.
Yeah. Uh,
Mm,
really, I don't really look at that. You really haven't sat down and thought about how far you've come, but I guess it's something to kind of sit and think about.
It should be. It should be. In terms of having your books available to different persons, or let me rephrase that. most of the books that you'd have written are just, illustrations with words in them. Have you considered a different medium to get your books available to persons, for example, an audiobook or even starting a podcast where your book is read to persons, etc.?
Um, um, yes, I have considered. I I have to figure out I have to figure out the how to, and I think that's where I would like to even speak with somebody that have done it and would
Mm-hmm.
be able to offer some insights as how best to go about doing it.
Okay, that does make sense. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, that does make
Because you
sense.
know when you put out something, you want it to be in the best light. You want it to represent what the purpose of it is as best as possible so that it can translate the message clearly.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With the progress that you've made so far, 10 books under your belt, uh, what is next for Samantha in 2024? Should we expect more books? Should we expect more books from your kids? Should we expect you attempting to overcome your fear of public speaking and devising workshops, etc.?
You can expect the unexpected. I have I have a few more books under my belt, but you just have to find the funding to get those done. Because those are more science based. Those are more teaching about St. Vincent, teaching kids about St. Vincent, and but in a fun way. So that would be my next project is sourcing funding to do those and possibly having workshops with kids to for them to learn about the ecosystems and so on of St. Vincent. Because my daughter also is she's a science girl. She's currently at UWI St. Augustine doing her degree in marine biology.
You're
And
for real?
I'm sorry.
No, for real?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
So she's a science girl. My son is more into Legos and heavy machine operations. So we'll see what he wants to do. He said he wants to be mechanical engineer. Sorry. Um,
Mm-hmm.
for me, I right now I'm just supporting them. There are a few things that some girlfriends want me to get involved in, maybe some empowerment workshops for women. But we'll see. We'll see how the good Lord leads.
Um, as most of your books are along the genre of children's books, empowering children, women's books, empowering women, do you see yourself exploring any different genres anytime soon?
No, not right now. I
Okay.
would like to collaborate with, actually, I'm working on a collaboration to put out a male empowerment book, much like the one of the Queen's Mindset. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I have on the backbone as well.
All right.
Yeah, because we gotta empower our kings as well,
Yeah, we do.
eh?
We do. I like the balance there.
We
Can
gotta
be,
empower as a mother of a daughter and a mother of a son. We gotta empower the girls, but we gotta empower the boys as well. We have to empower our kings and our queens.
yeah. Well said.
Yes,
Yeah. In terms of books, where can we get copies of them if it is that we want to?
you can get copies on Amazon. All are available there. You can get copies from us locally through me directly. Um, from Jujube bookstores. I think the other bookstores are sold out. I
Ah.
try to keep them directly through me
Mm-hmm.
because when you put the books in the bookstores, of course they're sold on consignment, but also the bookstores have to do a markup on your price so that they make something from the sale of your book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes by the time they do their markup, it's at a price that I'm not comfortable with for our customers. And I think because we want to encourage literacy, we want to encourage reading, and the economy is what it is right now, somebody might prefer go and take this $30 and buy food that is needed rather than buy a book and just shove the device in the child's face. So, but I think if the books are affordable, covering your costs and your profits and everything like that, then there will be more then they're more likely to purchase the book if it's more within their means, not just on birthdays or Christmas or special occasion, but just because. So I think that's my challenge with having the books in the bookstores is the markup of the cost to the consumer.
That's a practical point of view.
Yeah, I mean it's good to have your books in the bookstores, but if it's at a cost that it's they won't say, ah man, that way. They're not gonna buy it. But our books are in libraries throughout the Caribbean, in Dominica, in St. Kitts, in some bookstores too, in those islands. So we have been blessed to have such a welcoming arm throughout internationally just with our books. It has warmed my heart to see that they're so well received.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And I think it means a lot to me because coming from the background that I came from, where you were basically told you never amount to anything, and to see the level of love that we have received, it kind of lets you know you don't need to listen to everybody. You really don't. You have to believe in yourself and believe what you tell yourself to be true.
Yeah. See those affirmation books coming in handy, they may not just be for kids.
No, that's what I'm telling you. So when you pick up a copy of our books and you read it, you yourself will get inspired to do something different, to be something different.
Earlier, you had mentioned that one of the genres that you were, maybe not so much genres, but you were looking to explore books that were more educational to tell persons about Saint Vincent and the Grenadines and the island, etc. What would
Right.
your, what would your thoughts be about a collaboration with, for example, the Ministry of Tourism to promote literature like that?
I'm open and welcome to any collaboration that promotes not only myself but Saint Vincent and the Grenadines and just other authors. The possibility of
Yes.
other authors' work being out there. If the door is open for me, then the door is open could be open for many others that needs the door opened. So I'm welcoming. I'm welcome to any opportunity.
Okay. All right. Well, Samantha V. Williams, uh, that brings us to the end of our interview at this time. Um, I really appreciate you making the time to share with us details about your book, about your life, and details as to how it is that authors can prepare themselves for the process of writing and how to dole out a quality product. Do you have any advice to persons who have been listening to the podcast at this time before you leave us?
My advice to anyone that's within my listening air of myself and Mr. George is just to be yourself and to love yourself unapologetically, without excuses, without wanting acceptance from anybody else. Just love yourself for who you are and who you're going to be tomorrow. And the only person that you need to be in competition with is yourself. So you only strive to be better than you were yesterday. Just be yourself and love yourself.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, Samantha V. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. George. I appreciate it.
Okay. Well, take care.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye. You've been listening to TLC, Tropical Literature Creators. If you've heard something of interest or something you like, reach out to us. Reach out to our authors. Follow us on social media. We look forward to hearing from you.